Good morning, dear students, dear colleagues, good morning, dear spectators. I'm happy to see you today and I hope you will be happy and glad, satisfied from our lesson. Welcome to English class. This lesson is the English language lesson. Today, at this lesson, I'm going to help you to prepare for the Baccalaureate exam. My name is Dushkova Svetlana Dmitrievna. I am the teacher at the Kongas Theoretical Lyceum by Tudor Zanet. There are 4 objectives of the lesson. The first one. Today at the lesson I am going to explain the criteria of the task assessment. Next I am going to discuss what a text coherence depends on. And the third, to present the structure of the civilization topic required. Finally, at the lesson, I am going to share information on the main categories of item 3. It's on my opinion. If you have already started to prepare for the exam, Baccalaureate exam 2020, for this session, maybe you have used, and definitely you have already used this link, aee.edu.md. Today at this lesson we are going to work separately on section 3. And first, I'd like to show you the criteria of cultural and pragmatic competence of the assessment, and you can see that it has in total 20 points. Let's see what are exactly these criteria. First, you can get 7 points for cultural and pragmatic competence. This is the most important part of the criteria. Next, you are going to get 2 points for linguistic competence, that's for semantics. For linguistic competence on lexis-based vocabulary and orthography, you are going to get 3 points. Next is linguistic competence based on grammar and orthography, and for this you can get 3 points. Methodological competence is the final competence, and for this you can get 5 points. Be very attentive. These points, you can get them only if you do and write everything correctly. It's very important to know that 1 point will be lost for every 3 grammatical or orthographic mistakes. More than 9 non-repeated grammatical or spelling mistakes are made. In this case, the task will lose no more than 3 points. Let's see the example. For example, you get this topic. If you were a manufacturer, what a famous person or celebrity from an English-speaking country would you choose to advertise your products? Justify your choice and describe their role in this advertisement. It's very important to see that you are required to write a 70-80 word coherent text responding to the situation below. On the right hand, you can see the scores that you can get while writing this cultural and pragmatic text. The first 7 points you can get for the right coherence to the topic of culture civilization. Also, you can get all the 7 points for identifying the topic according to the theme of culture. Presenting personal ideas is also important. Description of famous personalities or cultural events and festivities is also included in this task. Be very attentive and look at the topic while you are writing. Next 2 points, as I've already said you in the previous slide, you are going to get for semantics. Vocabulary and orthography you can get for these 3 points. Grammar and orthography also is given to this task 3 points. Volume, you can get it 5 points. If you do everything correctly, step by step. Please don't mix it, don't jump right from the one point to the other. Before you start to write the text message, please be very attentive and read carefully the topic. You can read it 2 or 3 times in order to understand correctly what exactly you are going to do. Figure out the main points. Be coherent in your text responding to the situation in the task. Let's see our topic. Write a 70-80 word coherent text responding to the situation below. This is your volume. 5 points. If you were a manufacturer, what a famous person, celebrity from an English-speaking country would you choose to advertise your products? Justify your choice and describe their role in this advertisement. Look at this topic. It has at least 2 situations. The first situation is underlined with the red line. You have to imagine, you are supposed to imagine that you are a manufacturer and you have to advertise your products. The next situation is underlined with the green line. You have to choose a famous celebrity or a person from an English-speaking country that will be more fitted or suitable to have a successful advertisement of your products. Finally, if you make it and understand it correctly, justify your choice. Describe the role of this person or celebrity in your advertisement. As you can see in this topic, the main thing that you are going to describe and write about is justifying the choice. You have made a choice, justify it. Give at least one argument or an example and describe the role of this person in the advertisement. Now, let's see the steps one by one. What is your plan? How you can do it? Of course, first is the volume, 70-80 words. Next, follow the structure of the civilization task. As I've already mentioned, don't jump from one task to the other. Use discourse markers, that's linking words, when writing the text. These markers, they are the tools for making your text more colorful, more interesting, attract the person, the reader. Structure the paragraphs, it's very important, like in the essay, in the cultural and pragmatic item 3, you have already to, also you have to structure your paragraphs. Finally, after you have written your message, make a self-checkup. Check up the text for the proper grammar, semantic and coherence to the topic given. Let's have a look at one sample made by a student. The same topic was given to a student. Sorry, it's another one. List 2, 3 American famous people. Which one is your favorite? What is he or she famous for? Present one argument to support your point of view. Now, we have already done this text. You can see it. A student has written it. Now let's see how many paragraphs does it have and what is the context. First, I'm going to read you this sample and then I'm going to see with you, identify the paragraphs of this text. There are thousands of famous American people such as Louis Armstrong, Martin Luther King and Bill Gates. There are thousands of famous American people such as Louis Armstrong, Martin Luther King and Bill Gates. My favorite one is Martin Luther King, the leader of American civil rights movement. Mainly, he became famous for calling for racial justice and encouraging African Americans to fight for their rights with dignity and discipline. He made people believe that their dreams may come true, empowering his speech with the phrase, "I have a dream." Therefore, I advise everyone to believe that dreams may come true. Let's look more closer to these paragraphs. The first is the introduction. The student is introducing his ideas and his viewpoint on this topic. The first sentence is, list 2 or 3 American famous people. That's what he did in his introduction. What about the body of this message, of this text? He starts the second paragraph, the body, with the phrase, my favorite one, that is required in the second sentence, in a question. What is your favorite? And also, he gives the argument while justifying his point of view. He became famous for. Why did he choose this personality? Here he gives the example, he gives the proof. And the conclusion. Here the student advises everyone to follow the main truth of Martin Luther King. Why does he think he was too famous? In all of these 3 paragraphs, you can see that the student uses simple phrases. He uses in the introduction the phrase, there are thousands of. You can write also, there are plenty of, many of. In his body part, he writes, my favorite one is, because this word is demanded, required in the question of the topic. Also, while giving the improvement, he became famous for, and next he gives the reason why did he choose exactly this personality. And in the conclusion, I advise everyone to. He wants to share his own opinion with the other people, with other students. Here, in this slide, you can see the linking words that this student has used in his text, in his message. In the first introduction, he has used such as. It's the similarity, and next he is going to enlist, as it was required in the first sentence of the topic. In the body, he uses mainly. Why mainly? Because he gives the first reason, the first sample, why does he think that this person is important for him. And in the conclusion, he uses therefore as the giving conclusion. In the introduction, you should give clear ideas because you are introducing the reader into your next message. In the body, be coherent and proper to discourse the topic, disclosure of topic. In conclusion, you can give your personal opinion, but while writing this message, this text, please don't use too many words, too many ideas. Be clear and specific. It's very important. Here, I'd like to share with you the main hint. You can use it as a general structure while writing any type of civilization topic. The section 3. You can use the introduction. In the introduction, you can use these simple sentences, these simple phrases. You can start them by there is, there are, and next you are going to enlist some examples, some names or some holidays, events that you are required and asked to write about. Next, you can use I would like to describe, I would like to tell about. In the introduction, it's very important to write at least one sentence, or you can write 2 sentences, of course, if they are short. In the body, please bring the argument or arguments to provide your point of view. Give examples and specific reasons to support your answer. Describe the place in an English-speaking country or the role of a famous person from an English-speaking country. It depends on the topic that you get. Here in the body, you can write 3 or 4 sentences. And in the conclusion, you can use these phrases. I advise everyone to, I recommend or I highly recommend, and next you write your sentence. Personally, I wish, in the future I can, or personally, I hope, In the future, I will. Here you can write also, like in the introduction, 1 or 2 sentences. 2 sentences may be allowed if they are short. Remember, don't overcome the required number of words, 70 and 80, up to the 80 words. You can write 5 more words, but please don't overcome. It's not recommended. Here in this slide you can see the world map. Now, in every civilization topic you are required to choose and write about one English-speaking country. What are the top 5 English-speaking countries in the world? The first one is Australia, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, the USA, Canada and New Zealand. These are the 5 top list of English-speaking countries. English-speaking countries. In this slide you can see the maps of these countries and you can see the flags. Usually, after analyzing last 2 years' exam samples, I have made one conclusion, that these are the general categories that students are asked to write about while writing civilization topics. You can be asked to write about a natural monument, a museum, a touristic famous place, and of course you know that the king or queen of the English-speaking countries is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Here you may be asked to write about the role of the monarchy in the UK. People or pieces of art, modern art, can be asked to write about also. Mention English writer or book, famous people of any professions, musician, president, scientist, actor or sportsman. Of course, you can be asked to write about a successful person. As an example for you or the followers, maybe how you can reach your success in the future. Also, you can be asked to write about a successful person in the essay. School system in the English-speaking countries also is very important because you may be asked to write about this system in the comparison to the Moldovan, Gagauzien educational systems. British hobbies, extracurricular activities, sports also is one of the main topics. Elements of culture in an English-speaking country also should be mentioned. Exciting events or holidays that are celebrated only in the distinctive country or in Moldova. You can compare, or in both of these countries. You can compare or you can give in the several points or parts. The leader of the English-speaking countries is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. You can write about these 3 countries as in one text, giving one sample, or you can write about any of these countries in the separate context. For example, in Great Britain, you can write about England, or Scotland, or Wales, and finally you can write about Northern Ireland. In the next few slides, I'm going to give you some hints. Maybe they will help you while getting ready for the exam. What can you mention if you write about England? Of course, the center of this country is Queen Elizabeth II, her role in the world. You know that her birthday is still celebrated in all of the country by all common people, and her full name is Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor. You can write about the Houses of Parliament, the Big Ben as a sightseeing, famous place, touristic place, the Tower Bridge. Also, while listing sightseeings in London, you can mention Trafalgar Square or Buckingham Palace. As the outstanding touristic event, you can write, while writing about Buckingham Palace, the home of the royal family, you can write about the changing of guards. The West End in London is the center of the entertainment. Here you can visit any theaters, museums. While writing about the West End, you can write about the galleries, art galleries, the theaters, cinemas, and the shopping centers. Tourists adore this place. And also the natural monument that tourists come to visit from all over the world, any countries, is Stonehenge. Remember, you can, while writing about the role of the monarchy and the role of the queen in the political system or in the culture of the United Kingdom of Great Britain, remember the famous expression, the fact that the queen reigns but does not rule. Her power is limited. If you are asked to write about a famous writer, you should definitely write about William Shakespeare. You can also write about Jane Austen. You can write about George Gordon, Lord Byron. British Museum is one of the first and oldest, biggest museums in the world. Museum of Madame Tussauds is famous for its wax figures. You can see in this museum the figures of any famous celebrities from all over the world and any kind of it may be a businessman, a politician, a scientist, a president, an actor, a singer. Of course, people like to take pictures with the members of the royal family. Theaters. One of the first theaters in England is the Globe Theatre. It's the theatre that was based in the times of William Shakespeare. He had written some playwrights, and he was the actor acting on the stage at this theatre. The biggest universities of the world, the oldest universities, the legends of the education are University of Oxford and Cambridge University. If you are asked to write about the educational system or universities, maybe you will be asked to write about your future university. You can write about Moldovan universities, and you can write about as a dream university any of these universities of the English-speaking countries. Sports. You already know that football and cricket were started here in England. If you are asked to write about the music, you can mention the Beatles, their famous songs, Lady Madonna, Let It Be, and so on. They were and they still are the legends of the world music. The capital of Scotland is Edinburgh. Scotland is famous for its strict and severe climate. My heart is in the Highlands. My heart is not here. My heart is in the Highlands with Burns and Shakespeare. These are the lyrics which proclaim the Scotland. Kilts and bagpipes are one of the part of symbols of this Scottish nation. Holyrood House is the House of Queen in Edinburgh. Scotland is very famous with its landscapes, pictures, and magnificent sightseeing and breathtaking views. University of St. Andrew is thought to be one of the best universities in England. Legend, Loch Ness Monster. You can still write about this monster. Nobody has approved definitely if this monster still exists, but the scientists and people, the investigators, researchers, they still try to find out if it does really exist. If you are asked to write about any holiday, you can write about Hogmanay. It's very beautiful, breathtaking, with lots of fire. The National Wallace Monument is one of the prides of natural monuments in Scotland. If you had to write about cuisine, you can write about haggis. It's the famous dish in the Scottish nation. Next country is Wales. You know that the capital of Wales is Cardiff. Among these three countries, Wales is not so big. Its territory is much smaller, but it doesn't mean that this country doesn't have any beautiful, outstanding places. You can write about famous people, such as one of the royal family's member, King Henry VII, a legend. A Cardiff Castle is like the museum and still functioning castle. Snowdonia National Park, one of the most beautiful places in the world. You can see it here on this slide. Famous sightseeing, as I've already mentioned, Cardiff Castle is located on the top of the hill, and it's very beautiful. It's left from the medieval times and it's still in a good condition. Tourists come and visit, take lots of pictures of this place. Snowdonia National Park, you can see here the breathtaking sight and the mountains, lakes with pure water like a teardrop, and they admire it too much. They come again and again and visit these places. If you are supposed to write about a legendary person from Wales, you can write about a famous actor, Anthony Hopkins, that made a real revolution in the new genre of movies, in dramas and thrillers. King Henry VII was a kind of a revolutionary and with roots from Wales, who started the Tudor dynasty in the royal family genealogical family tree. In his times, it was in his times when the history of the royal family started and of the whole England started to be written about. He made a good economy of the country, and in his times there was put an end to the wars and fights of the red and white roses. Entertainments in Wales also have their interesting points. Rugby. Rugby was started also in Wales. It's a famous sport played all over the world today in these times. St. David's Day is very interesting holiday that is celebrated only by Welsh people and mostly in Wales, of course. The capital of Northern Ireland is Belfast. Northern Ireland is famous for its beautiful castles, medieval castles, and what is more important, some of these castles still function and people like hotels. People can come visit these places, admire it, and stay for a while, for some days. Museum. The Ulster Museum is one of the most beautiful, richest museums in England. Giant's Causeway is also very interesting because it looks like a road made by giants laid with these rocks. And the next natural wonder, you can write about Belfast Botanic Gardens. It's like the greenery town inside, made of some stores and species of any kinds of plants and tree. You can see them here. What is very interesting in the Northern Ireland, it's the peace lines. A 5.5 meter high peace line along Spring Martin in road in Belfast that still separates Catholic and Protestant districts 15 years after the end of the Troubles. There was the time when Catholics and Protestants had very serious fights. They had these fights that tormented common citizens. After building these walls, peace walls that still exist in a good condition, these wars were stopped. Finally, they got to their end, and people still live there in peace. St. Patrick's Day is a national holiday in Northern Ireland. Finally, we have reached to study tips for exam preparation. In this slide, I'm going to give some hints. I want to give you some advices how to get ready for the exam. Yes, of course, we know that it is a very important, a very responsible step to your future, but you have to overcome it. If you were responsible during these 3 final years while studying at the Lyceum level, I'm sure, and your teachers also are sure, that you will pass this exam with the excellent grades. The first tip is to prepare a balanced schedule on study. You have 6 exams. Prepare a schedule. During your week, write for exact day to study what subject. Next step is organize your study space. Make it clear for you where is everything that you need. You can use some folders. Organize study groups with friends in number 3. It will be very useful for you to understand some topics that are hard to understand individually alone. Practice on past exams. I'm sure you already do it. You are already doing it. Step number 5. Use graphs, charts and diagrams. That will cause your eye and you will remember it better. Next, involve your friends for solutions. For example, tip number 6. Involve your friends for solutions. If you do have any topic that is difficult for you to understand, you can discuss with your friends, your classmates, you can address your teacher or a group mate. I'm sure they will definitely help you and give advices. In number 7, take intervals. If you studied hard for several hours, you can have a cup of tea, you can have 2 or 3 sweets if you like them, or a bar of chocolate that will help you a little, or you can go for a while to have a short talk with any member of your family. Just take interval. Number 8, drink plenty of water. If you are nervous, if you are stressed, water will help you. And number 9, take care of your food. I know some people, while in stress, in deep stress, they eat much or they eat less. Take care of it. Your health is the most that is important, that counts. In number 10, on exam day, don't hassle. Relax. Be confident. You will definitely do it if you studied hard, if you were serious, if you were responsible. You will do it. And here, remember, in a month or 2, you are going to be graduates of the Lyceum level. You are already the successful person. What is a success? S is for seeing the goal. U is understanding the obstacles. C, creating a positive mental picture. Next, C is clear mind of self-doubt. E, embrace the challenge. S, stay on track. And final letter, S, show the world you can do it. Dear students, I want to address you in the end of the lesson. This lesson I tried to help you in your future exams. I hope my advices, my recommendations will help you. Don't worry, you can do it. I wish you good luck, success, be healthy. And remember, stress is not a friend. Try to reduce it. Be relaxed, be confident. Goodbye.